All right, welcome back. I have another knife here today. Going into this one blind. I probably should have checked who it was before. If you caught the last video, I switched the AliExpress $11 G10 scales on here to see if they would work well. So far, so good. I don't love the bright blue, but it doesn't matter that much to me. The gray did really grow on me, though, the gray grivory. But I'm going to be doing some content around what's going on out in China because the first Demkos are coming out there. I'm just going to do a nice light cut here and see if I can get in here. They're starting to come out in China with I'm trying to think of the right term, but basically and we have another Demko. I don't know if the right term's replicas or what, but you know they're starting to be out there. So now this one was not shipped in a box, and I got a little dent right there, so that's not ideal. But let's see what we've got, because I got a few of these coming in, and I'm not 100% sure which one this is. I can guess based on the package that it's an AD20.5. But we will confirm for sure. And if I'm seeing this right, this is actually one of them. So let's see. Wow, here it is. I was totally fooled. So this is kind of funny. Here's an authentic Demko versus a non-authentic. You got a little different color here. So I'm gonna have to pull out a couple other knives to do this comparison. I wasn't completely ready for it, and I may end up doing a second one, but here it is. You know, potentially the first one. I haven't seen a video on one of these yet, but first thing I notice is perfectly centered. That's different. So this is interesting because usually only on the titanium ones, not on the grivory, do you get the two-sided metal. So you're actually getting a little bit of an upgrade here. Let me pull out. This is super fascinating. I was not expecting this, but this is cool. Let me pull out an authentic one to do everything sort of side by side here. I'll do, since it's, I'll do a D2. I think I have the D2 one from, let me double check, from Knife Center here. Let's see, this is it. Yeah, so I'll do this side by side. So first, the case is a little different. It's a little harsher. The zippers are pretty similar, but a little different. It's a little smoother on the authentic one. I have to keep everything straight here. This is really interesting. The Demko cleaner did not come. I gotta keep everything real straight here. So box. Let's take a quick look at the boxes. The color is slightly different, but very slightly. In fact, yeah, it's really similar. And then on the Demko one, you've got a little bit of textured color there. So this is an authentic Demko one. And this is the knockoff. What else? This authentic Demko one has a skew on the bottom, and the colors are slightly different. It's darker on the authentic Demko one than it is on the non-authentic Demko one. Okay, so let's get into it here. Anything on the inside of the boxes I can call out? Inside of the boxes are very similar. Let's see here. Let me move this. Very similar. Wow. Like even to the point of wrapping this in the same way here. That's a little scary. Fonts exactly the same. That's impressive. Concerning, but impressive. I'm gonna move this out a little bit here so we can get everything in here. All right, and I'm doing this on the fly. As you saw, this is like an unboxing, so I'm not gonna catch every little thing here. The shark's a little darker on the knockoff. So you do get the little Demko rag, but it didn't come in a box. The bag that it came in is a little cheaper, maybe feeling as well. So it's a little shorter. Like the Demko one has this double over here. And it's a little cheaper feeling, like flimsy plastic. The case inside is super similar, like super similar. Very hard to tell the difference. A little cheaper feeling, some bad stitching here and stuff. And then I don't think it's going to come, yep, doesn't come with the left-hander. So that's almost like an instant differentiator, is the left-handed pocket clip is not available on the knockoff. The inside of here is fairly similar, like there's not enough difference that I could tell you to look for something versus the other. Like they feel fairly similar, and the stitching and everything, it's amazing how similar these things are. Wow. So let's get these up here and we'll go on again. The true Demko versus the fake one. They're a different color here too. I'll get this out and show you. Not only did it come in the bag, it's a different color and a different size. So the Demko one, I believe, is bigger. I could be wrong. Let's see. Maybe they are the same. Maybe they're just folded differently. Yeah, no, they're the same size. But one's white, the knockoff is white, and the Demko one is gray. So I'm not sure how easy that is to see. I don't have the best lighting. Really could use some good lighting for this particular video, but material-wise, the Demko one's a little nicer too. Let's see if I can get a little zoom on that and tell the difference there. So that's interesting. All right, let's look at the knives. So the immediate tell is that a grivory Demko does not have that full metal like you do on the 3V, like really high-end versions. So that's the immediate tell, is if you see grivory plus if you see grivory plus the full size, oops, I don't know what you call it, the pivot hardware, then you know you've got a fake on your hands. So let's see what else. The hardware itself is different. So if you look at the hardware here, it's fairly similar, but the hardware back here is quite different. So you can see these are bigger. They're probably the same size, like T6, but the actual total thing is larger. The total screw is larger. And you don't have the AD20.5 like smooth landing pad. So that's a dead giveaway. I'm not sure if this is grivory or G10. I'd have to go double check what the ad said. Oh, there's another dead giveaway. Not sure if you can hear that. I've never had a Demko make a squeak. So maybe you could lube this thing up to the point where it doesn't make that squeak, but that is definitely different. The Gimping is fairly similar, but a little different. It's a little taller on the Demko, the authentic Demko. I assume that's the same, yeah, on the clip point here. So it is a clip point. I can't remember if there's a shark's foot available or not, but I'd have to go double check. This came from AliExpress, if I was not completely clear. Finish is different as well. So on the Demko, you get a really nice tumbled finish, and it's still nice on the knockoff. It's not bad, but it's not as clean. And then look at the D here. It's actually not a complete D. It's kind of funny. The thumb studs are almost identical. Almost identical. Now this one's an AUS 10A, like my usual go-to here. Or at least it says AUS 10A. I don't know what it's actually. I'd have to go double check. Again, I was not completely prepared for this. I think it said something like D2, even though it says AUS 10A on here. So it's kind of mimicking the, it's kind of funny. I've got the G10 from AliExpress on here also, so it's a little funny, but I wish I had my grivory on here. But a grivory clip point I do, so I'll maybe pull that out too. But the, yeah, the finish is, it's not quite as tumbled. It's more like stone washed maybe. I see a lot of grease on here, so they did grease it, but man, it does not work as well. Almost to the point of being a little concerning on the action, like if it actually would hold up. I've never felt one where I could make that noise by pushing it. So it does make some noise when you, yeah, whereas the regular one makes no noise. So that's a little concerning. I don't know how safe this knife even is, honestly. Generally does what you expect. It generally operates like a Demko, like aside from that noise that it makes, that's funny. I guess there's a tiny bit of that noise. Maybe it's just because it's new. This one has no noise. This one's my daily driver. And that has zero noise, but this one actually does have a tad. And this is an authentic D2 from, this is the Knife Center. So what else? The coloring on the hardware is almost exactly the same. It'd be very hard. Oh, look at that. Didn't even notice the standoffs on the back versus the spacer. So that's another dead giveaway. Having the standoffs like that versus a back spacer on a grivory. So there are quite a few ways to tell if you've got a knockoff on your hands. That's good news. I get really concerned when it's hard to tell. Now, if you're not a knife person or you haven't owned a Demko, boy, it would be really hard to know that this is not the same knife. Let's do a quick weigh-in. Now, this is a clip point, so I may have to go pull out a quick clip point really quickly. 3.65 ounces versus 3.55 ounces, which is about the difference, if I recall correctly, to the clip point. Let me pull one out real quick. I think I only have a DLC coated, which might also be a little different. I don't know. I do have another one, but it's just in the not in the rib. So let me get a clip point out real quickly. All right, so super cool version I got from Blade Ops, all blacked out, DLC coated across the board here. No noise on that one. And that one weighs in at 3.55 also, so it is a little heavier than a factory. Pocket clip, also not tumbled. So the pocket clip is very much a satin finish instead of that tumbled Demko that we've come to know and love. Looks a lot cheaper. And the hardware on it, it's pretty similar, but it's also not tumbled like the Demko hardware. The hardware on this side is more similar than on the other side. Aside from having the, it's so funny that they did that. And then here's versus a clip point versus a clip point. The slot looks the same. Oh, that's interesting. The dip for the shark lock is not the same depth. And I'll pull out another one. That is super interesting right there. So that, I was feeling like the lockup wasn't as strong. I don't know if that's to do with it, but yeah, I would not trust this like I would a Demko. I would treat this, you know, maybe I'll pull it I'll open it up and take a look inside and stuff. Gosh, that is messed up. That is some nerve. They even have the patent in there. Oh man, that is just shocking. That is a slap in the face to Demkos. So I got this knife really just to help the community know what's going on with it. This is not a knife that I will use, that I advocate people buying. I'm not going to destroy it. I'm going to continue to do educational videos with it, but that's what my mind goes to. How much did this thing cost me? I think it was like $26 shipped. I got it in about 2 or 3 weeks from China. Package it came in, ended up, I think they're sending it to someone in the US. So this is pretty interesting. This is what it came with in the, that's interesting. I wonder if it's a Russian company that's doing it. If you have a complaint, don't open a dispute, cause me bad influence, contact me first. This is all they send with the knife. No instructions, just all about me. Juju Fool. And I'll try and put the link, I don't know, should I link to this? I don't really want to promote it, but I'm kind of curious about the blade stock thickness too. Are they similar? They're almost exactly the same. Super similar there. It's just scary. It's scary how good they are at this stuff. It seems like it's a little thinner on the shark lock. I'd have to pull out a caliper to know for sure. But not only does it seem like it's a little thinner, when it's locked up, it moves. This barely moves on an authentic one. Shark lock, yeah, this one doesn't move at all. This one does, but I just took it apart today and probably didn't do a great job of putting it back together when I put these new scales on. So I don't know, maybe that's not a thing. Maybe that's, but this one has quite a bit of play, and I don't know if it's because it's thinner there than a genuine one. It looks like the shark lock is a little thinner though, if I'm seeing it right. Also, you can see there's a little difference in, there's like a little, just double check that I'm seeing that right. Yeah, there's a little like square there on the real ones that you don't have on the fake one. So yeah, the shark lock looks a little wider. It has that little square there. So that's super interesting. And you can see, I was mentioning the size difference. You can see the way it locks up actually looks a little bit different. See if I'm just seeing things. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe they're pretty similar. Man, that's the killer. That is just crazy that they put that patent in there. What a jerk thing to do. That's messed up. I was mentioning it's a little lighter, or a little heavier. I was thinking maybe they didn't have the milling inside, but it looks like the same milling inside. I am noticing with the authentic one, I'm seeing the light through it much easier. You can see the light coming through the grivory more than on the non-authentic one. Maybe that's just because it's sitting in front of it. No? Let me see if I see that here, even on the black. I imagine the black doesn't show through much. So maybe it's just the orange grivory dye is lighter. Wow. Well, I gotta say, I'm impressed and concerned for our community on this knife. Now, like, some of you may go, hey, I don't believe in patents, everything should be open source, and like, that's fine if that's your belief, but people that go into business get to choose what they want to do. And, you know, that's Andrew Demko's business choice. And I don't think that companies should be profiting from these. I hated the idea of buying it, frankly, but I wanted to make the video as soon as I saw them on there so that people can be aware. Because what I saw first was I saw it on eBay, and I was like, oh no, they're out. And then I jumped on AliExpress and picked one up. Yeah, the shape of the blades just spot on. It is spot on. It's a little, it almost looks like the blade's like a little wider than the regular one. I'd have to, again, get the calipers out for some of these, but generally, see if I can get the scale out of here. And now I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video and see which one the shark lock sticker came out of. I don't think it came out of this one, right? I think that one came out of the authentic one there, but that'll be interesting. So yeah, you can really see the difference in the jimping on one versus the other. It's a lot taller on the authentic one. But aside from that, the proportions, the blade design and stuff are fairly similar. I don't know, I got to double check. I'm pretty sure it's D2 blade steel or something, or you know what? I think it's 9/8 CRMOV or whatever that is. I can't remember the name of that Chinese steel. I'm pretty sure that's what this is, or 14 CRMOV or something like that. I think that's what it was. But yeah, in so many ways, this does exactly what an authentic Demko does, and you're paying 150, 125 to 150 if you get it on sale for 125 right now. Like this one's on sale for 125 at Knife Center. You're not going to get, this definitely doesn't work as well. The shark lock is not quite as good. And I wouldn't trust this knife, like with my finger integrity. I would not trust that it's not going to fail on me. Just don't know really. But man, there's a lot of, you got to give them credit. They did a very good job of copying here. So that's scary and also just something to be aware of. I wanted to raise awareness that these fakes are out there and get that info out to the community before someone gets hoodwinked, and sold a fake one or thinks they're getting a Demko for a good deal or whatever it is. This is a video dedicated to letting you know that they exist and what they look like. I think the one place that I looked at just had these two colors, the orange and the blue. But that to me is the quick dead giveaway. If you see one with the big, the big, I don't know what the right term is, pivot bearing or pivot hardware, and it's not a titanium one or a carbon one. I think those are the only ones. Maybe they also do that on the 3V Knife Center exclusive. Is it Knife Center? I think it's Knife Center does a 3V grivory for like $200 or $190, or depending on what the features are. So that's something to be aware of too. But yeah, this is impressive and concerning. Be aware that they're out there. See, there's a slight difference in the clip point shape, but nothing. It'd be very hard to tell if you didn't have them right next to each other. It'd be very hard to pick it out. The jimping's definitely taller on the authentic ones, so that helps as well. But they did a very good job of duplicating the work of a very good knife maker here. Again, the hardware is different here and here. Well, not on this one, but on an authentic one, you're gonna have a backspacer versus the standoffs there. and then the you know, satin finish versus the tumbled finish on the clip. I'm pretty sure, oh no, is that tumbled? I think that is tumbled. Let's see if these are the same. I think those two are the same and this is different, yeah. So those would be some of the giveaways to watch out for. Well, I think that's all for now. Be aware that these are out there. Oh, of course, and the finish on the knife is not the tumbled finish, which is a pretty distinct difference. It's more of like a, not a satin, but it's like a, yeah, kind of hard to say or see in this current light, but in sunlight, I guarantee you this would look hugely different. In the sunlight, these things catch crazy. You know, you see so much figurine and stuff in the tumbled finish in the sunlight on an authentic one. So I'd say that would be the other big difference there to watch out for. All right, that's that. I was not expecting this to be here. I'd have been more prepared, but I think I've caught some of the sort of standout differences. The grind is also really different. It's much smaller. Demko does a pretty long grind. I don't know what the exact degree is, I forget, but that's one other thing to notice there, is that the grind is much thinner all the way to the edge, especially like at the tip. The Demko ones have a really nice tip versus, you know, this kind of, it's fine, but it is what it is. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and hopefully this helped some of you avoid a potential mistake. These imposters are out there, and hopefully now you have some tools to catch them before you get, you know, tricked. So just throw those in there like that. Be aware, and best of luck. Let's bring this in here for one last look here. And with that, I will send you on your way. Thanks. Thanks for stopping by. We will see you on the next one, and take care.